Lisa. Here. Ali Fitch. Harrison.
Here.
Sam.
Here.
Ivy. Here. Julara.
Yeah.
Ola. Here. Johan.
Yeah, here.
Andrew. Kelly. Rachel. Margaret. Here. Brian.
Here.
Shaylin. Here. Andrew.
Here.
Emily. Elena. Here. Sierra. Devin.
Here.
Mark.
Here.
Ali. Yeah. Andy. And Joseph.
Here.
Thanks, Hannah. Margaret. There's a motion on the table to waive the reading of the minutes. Is there a second? Sam? Questions to the wording? Discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Margaret?
Move to approve the minutes.
There's a motion on the table to approve the minutes. Do I have a second? Second by Devin. Questions to the wording? Discussion? We'll now move into voting. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Great, thank you. We will now move into public comments. Is there anyone that has a public comment? Ivy.
I think we should have these come every
That is true. What do you mean by a day?
I don't know, like an event or like something.
An event? Sorry? An award.
I agree.
Laura, would you like to form a committee? Brian?
I don't know if this is completely ridiculous because I just thought of it, but he never sees his family, and it would be nice if he did. So if he could bring his kids, and when he needs to do work, one of us could take care of him during the day, and so they could be around for one day. I feel like if that sounds ridiculous, then say it sounds ridiculous.
I do not think it's ridiculous. I volunteer. In all seriousness, I volunteer to babysit his kids. All right. Allie. All right, Allie.
I don't think it's good to have kids running around this. I can see.
I think that maybe if we perhaps not pay a babysitter. You know what the thing is? Andy?
I'm not sure having a babysitter to watch his kids while he's not with them is the best way to that seems wildly counterintuitive. Thank you. I'll take it.
That's why I stopped saying it. What if I feel like instead of perhaps having a day, because he sees us all the time, what if we just maybe like gave him a gift certificate to like Fun World with his children, or like whatever children do, like a gift certificate. Andrew?
One clarification. That was Fun World.
Ellen?
Better, like more easy to the parents also, rather than them having to watch their kids running around all the time.
Andy?
I think that's a pretty good idea, but I think we should also force them to actually do it because I mean that in terms of I know from working with Mike on other things that Mike calls at 10 o'clock at night and well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow, maybe. So my only concern is like we would have to schedule at a time where like if it was open, if it was something that he had to make reservations for, like make sure that he kind of doesn't make reservations for something for any chance that he would have to get called in. Like that would be a line because he will always drop his family if I didn't.
What if we schedule something that Mike needs to be at, and then cancel it, and say, but you're in a student council meeting. Shaylin?
That was my thought, essentially, that, we sort of schedule, like, some sort of 2-hour thing for Mike, and then we cancel it, hand him the gift certificate, and his family shows up, sort of, I don't know how we contact his family without knowing, but I feel like that'd be a good idea.
Allie?
We make a song.
I think we probably should make it a song, now that you say it. Okay, but this probably is most conducive to discussing not in this Robert Rules public arena, just in case. I don't think, does Mike watch these?
I would hope that everybody watches CCN, but I don't know.
I kind of not write this in the minutes. Okay, so are there like maybe like 3 or 4 people that feel really strongly about this and have the time to like think this through and maybe report back to us next week. Devin,
Yeah.
Ivy, come on, we need some more people. Zach?
Just for clarification for CCN, we're not planning anything for Mike McKenna, right?
Yeah, we are not planning anything for Mike McKenna.
Yeah.
All right, other people? Yes, you are. That's for, I mean, personally, I would like to give him some sort of certificate, to use with his family. It wouldn't be something really in-depth, just maybe have one meeting before next week.
So we need his number.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Kid down.
Can I have,
Not that way. Call them the phone.
can I have at least one more person? Sam? Okay, cool. So if you guys can just talk after this meeting even and figure out something smart to do, something nice to do for Mike, and then bring it to us next week. Mike's not here. We'll figure out how you're gonna report back to us. And yeah, well, maybe we'll come up with like a code name. Yeah.
I'm the other coding committee.
Caitlin, did you have something you wanted to say? Oh no.
No, sorry.
Alright, cool. Any more comments on this? Awesome. Good idea, Ivy. Alright, so any more public comments? Seeing none, we move into financial matters. Kelly Grants.
On behalf of the grants committee, I move to allocate $0 from Core to PowerShift.
There's a motion on the table to allocate $0 to PowerShift. Is there a second? Second by, yes. Yes, so, do you wanna,
So we'll just move like way.
Oh.
okay. Is there a second? Second by Ivy. Questions for the wording? Discussion. Kelly?
So they originally came asking for $600. Actually it was from January, so a few months ago, we have already allocated them $2,910 for PowerShift. When they came back asking for an additional $600 to cover some people's costs of staying in the hotel rather than camping, and also registration fees. We decided not to use the money because they are currently way back here from a bunch of groups, the RFP department and President Angel, who said that he would cover any expenses in the end that they can find. After talking to them, they totally understood and said it was fine.
Any further discussion? We'll move into voting. All in favor of allocating $0 to PowerShift, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Kelly?
On behalf of Grants Committee, we allocate $500 from the advocacy fund and $195 from quarter 4 to
There's a motion on the table to allocate $500 from advocacy and $195 from quarter 4 to choices. Is there a second? Second by Andy. Questions for wording? Discussion. Kelly?
So this was a submission from Choices to head to New York City to go to the Museum of Sex. He's also here to talk more about what he does.
Yeah,
Aye.
Hi. Everything's so official. We take this trip annually, and all the educators find it to be really helpful and informative. And with that money, we're still charging people money to come onto the bus. It's going to be $7 for Choices educators, $10 for non-members. And with that, with the expected number of people, this will be so that Choices does not have to pay too much money out of their own budget, which is really low, especially because we were robbed twice this year from our office, and we've had to not only cover the cost of the hundreds of dollars that was taken from us, but we also had to buy locks and have higher security for our office, which would cost more money. So,
What is your full name?
Maxie, M-A-X-I-E, Kalish, K-A-L-I-S-H.
Thanks. Just 5 minutes. Any further discussion?
So this money will be going to the transportation, am I right?
Part of it is to the transportation, and the other part would be to cover the cost of tickets in for the educators, which is it's $16 admission.
Okay, can you just ask like what kind of transportation are you taking it right now? Because I went to this exact museum like during spring break, and I spent $13 on Megabus, like one way, so 2 ways will be 26.
Right, we are taking just a yellow school bus that we're renting out We usually have at least 30 people going on the trip, so I don't think that booking public transportation for everybody is really, I don't know, I'm not all of that, but.
Any other discussion, Kelly?
Yeah, so what we're covering is the full cost of the school bus is $800, but we're allocating $500, thinking the $300 can come from their remaining budget, and then also they asked for $335 to cover registration fees, but we did the math was that the educators pay $7 and they can fill the rest of the bus, that brings it down to $195. Allocated to our numbers.
Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we will move into voting. All in favor of allocating $500 from advocacy, $195 for afforded choices, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? All abstentions? Motion passes. Kelly?
To allocate $150.52 from quarter 4.
There's a motion on the table to allocate $139.53 from quarter 4 to management 100 with a 2-week waiver. Is there a second? Seconded by Ivy. Questions to the wording? Discussion. Kelly?
So this was a request put in by Ola a few weeks ago. We were waiting for reimbursement for an event that they had for management 100 where they made art that is now hanging in the Goddard Library. We waited until we got receipts back, and the receipts are cover the cost of paint and receipts.
Any further discussion? Andrew?
What do you mean by 2-week waiver? What does that mean?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, Kelly, go for it.
Because this event has already happened, it's a reimbursement, and in our bylaws it has to be within 2 weeks of the event.
Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, we will move into voting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you so much, Kelly. Is there anything else? Awesome. All right, we are now going to move into the financial committee report. Allie.
So we have an extra $2,685, and we decided to give 49 smallest clubs with the least amount of money.
Allie, can you make a motion?
I make a motion, by the way, I make a motion to allocate the remaining unallocated $2,685 to the 49 clubs with the lowest allocated budgets.
There's a motion on the table to allocate the remaining $2,685 to the clubs with the lowest remaining balances. How many clubs? 49 clubs with the lowest remaining balances. Is there a second? Second by Ivy. Questions to the wording? Ryan.
Yeah, I have some questions for you. Just, I want to make sure everyone in the council is clear about the wording. So you want to give the 49 lowest budgets by total dollar evenly the additional $2,600 that are being allocated, and that would come to how much each club?
It's like $54.72. So I was thinking of $55 and $10 over.
We can't budget over what we have. We don't have more than that. So we could either do 54, we could do 810. If we do 54, we would have some left over. Just a very small amount, probably under $5.
So these should be questions to the wording right now only. So are there any other questions about the specific words of this motion? All right. Andrew?
Clarify, just to have a little clarity.
Sure.
There is an amount of money that can be allocated yet for recreations.
Yes.
And that amount of money can be split evenly among the 49 clubs that currently have the lowest dollar amount in their budget.
Okay. We're allocated the lowest.
They were allocated and can be allocated.
Thank you. So still questions on the wording? Kelly?
So the cost of the beginning of the year allocated
exactly what we would have.
You would like Molly to restate the motion?
Restate the motion.
Ally?
So it's to give the remaining $2,685 to the 49 clubs, which the reason that it's 49 is because they were all under $3,000 allocated for next year. This is all next year, all the money that we're in, with the lowest column.
Any other questions, Andy?
Okay, I'm really sorry. What clubs are these? That's not a question of the word. Because the word is 49 clubs, I want to know what the 49 clubs are. That's
Ally? One.
You don't have to publicly. Do you have a list anywhere that I can just look at?
Can you just put your hand up and then I'll call you? Ally? We're still on questions to the wording. Let's just move. Is there a second to this motion? Second by Abby. Discussion. Okay. Now we can talk about anything. Right?
Okay, so what happened is last week, we took time and we allocated all that money. That's why we had the coffee donuts. Thank you for that idea and go and get the donuts.
And Andrew.
And Andrew, yeah, who went as well. So then we ended up with $2,685 left over in what we could budget. Finance committee met earlier today to try to decide what they wanted to do with it. They felt that the most equitable thing was to take the clubs that were allocated the least money for next year, in absolute terms, and give them the excess money that we have. They chose a cutting off point of clubs with $3,000 or less. That came to 49 clubs. So that's the 49 clubs with the lowest budgets. That 49 numbers because there are 49 clubs which were allocated last week $3,000 or less. So then the last point of clarification is whether we're allocating that. We just take the amount of money and we divide it by 49, and that amount is added to each club that was allocated $3,000 or less last year. Does that help?
So I need a speakers list on this issue. So anyone that wants to speak on this, just raise your hand. Johan, Harrison, Margaret. Okay, Johan?
Right. First and foremost, most likely this proposal will get shot down. I wanted to approach personally Ryan and Lisa. What? Before, not this motion, but basically what I'm trying to say here. And in Model UN came up and they were supposed to be at the meeting, but they weren't. And they asked me personally to inquire whether this would be possible, basically to revise the budget. I mean, it's their fault that they weren't on time, not part of the e-vote, but a possible revision of the budget. And their argument lies in the fact that Clark is one of the leading Model UN teams, in the world circuit. They said Harvard, we were ranked 8th in the world compared to other schools. So as regards this motion to divide it up among the smaller clubs, my proposal would be considering the Model UN has such great stature. We've actually done something for club. We've taken the name not only nationally but at an international level. That please be considered, that this name be considered to be allocated to Clark University. $2,000 $2,000 would enable us to do conferences, the National Model UN Conference out at the UN, and another small conference along the lines of the one also at the University of Pennsylvania. What is your reaction?
Well, first of all, this isn't my decision or Ryan's
That's
decision. It would be the decision of the Finance Committee, and then they would come to us with a recommendation for that. I wish we had known about Model UN a bit sooner, because I don't want this conversation to devolve into us debating whether or not Model UN should receive that money, because that's what needed to happen last week. That being said, Andrew, do you have anything to say?
I hope my statement isn't taken as a reversal of anything one another. As a matter of procedure, council can choose to reopen a motion already been decided with a three-quarters vote. So if you wanted to reopen the budgets that were allocated last week, that's
Okay. Is this about, I feel like now we're talking about anything, so I think that what we should do, is table this finances motion for a second. And then if we get 3 quarters of you to vote and say that you would like to reopen the discussion for budgets, then we can do that. Ryan?
I would say that, first of all, we can discuss giving the 2,600 to Molly, or we can discuss reopening the budgets. Reopening the budgets means we have to reopen discussing all of the clubs. Yes. And, or we could just limit the discussion to this 2,600 going to Molly UN. And I don't have a personal opinion about that, but that strikes me as a much safer option, just in terms of. God, that is a long meeting, so.
That's good. I mean, in a way that will sound very corrupt just to give. Having not the money when he's not recognized. I mean, it's one of the most stuff that even other content.
Okay. Margaret?
Yeah, I think it's not very transparent to offer a club that wasn't here for appeal money just because they pushed individual member accounts. Other clubs that had members but didn't receive their full amounts. I just think it's untransparent.
Johan hasn't made a motion, so Johan, if you don't want to make a motion, then we can just.
Can I motion to raise exactly what you regarding moving this money to Model UN and then have a specific discussion on that? Or
Point of order. Right now, we're in a main motion, and that main motion is to allocate the money as they described. If you want to instead allocate that money differently, what you have to do would be to argue during discussion that you should vote no on the motion, and then when that no vote is completed, not for your own motion.
Elena?
I personally part of the club, and I know it is true that the representative of the Igor were not here, but unfortunately we just came out of a huge conference that we did, so that's why the members were not here. We were really busy, and as a matter of fact, we won at that conference, so I think you should really consider that. I know that this club has done so many good things. We're also thinking about expanding the club. Actually growing, it's getting support from the Department of Political Science a lot. It's getting a lot of support, and actually the members of the club are putting so much effort into it, and they're trying to do their best. And it has been proved that the job that the club has done has been amazing. We've been ranked 10th internationally, and especially nationally in the US. We're like in the first 10 positions. We competed against a lot of people. We won 7 awards at Harvard. We won at SU MUN. So I think it would be nice if you could have a thought about it.
I think that right now, what we're talking about is not giving Model UN money. What we're talking about is the motion currently on the table. And so if you would like to argue on behalf of Model UN, then what you need to do is take part into this conversation and argue against allocating this money to the 49 other clubs. Alright, so on my speakers list, I have next Ivy.
Well, everything you guys are saying is valuable, but if we open it up to you guys, that's not fair at all. We have to open it up to everyone. Like, because they have exactly the same arguments that you do. So, I don't know, that's how.
Remember, we're not talking right now about Model UN. Right now, we're talking about the idea of dividing this money up either to one club or to 49 clubs. And so I think I want to hear some discussion about the idea of dividing it up between the clubs, because that's what the yes vote would be. Joseph?
Is there any reason for giving these clubs extra money for the city doing it?
All right, I'm going to continue directly respond to that. Ola?
So we had a couple of motions, just to give money to PCF. divide money among 100 plus clubs, then the amount would be around $30, and it will not be substantial for many clubs. And we decided that if we give $50, $55 to the smaller clubs for budgets of $600 or $1,000, they will feel like a change. It might be very useful for them. So I decided to take the lower, not the percentages.
Yeah, I frankly think that the one should be given to clubs that.
Sorry, I didn't comment.
I'm just telling you,
I honestly think that if we're going to choose to make the decision to try to allocate the remaining $2,000-ish to other clubs, I think the only way to do it is to go back through and reevaluate every other club to make sure that, and reevaluate the entire, do like a repeat. That's the only way to do it fairly. I'm not saying that I would like to do that. What I'm saying is that's the only way to do this to make sure that it's fair, is to go through and read out, because I'm looking at this list, and there's clubs that would be getting more than what they even requested if they got $54 extra, just arbitrarily. And there's clubs that weren't, there's one club that wasn't given anything who would be $50, well, give $50. There's all these little tiny inconsistencies that would arise if we were to just shell out $50 to these 49 clubs. And I think that if we do want to allocate this, the only way to do it is to have a repeat of last meeting, which I frankly don't think we should do.
I have Kelly next.
I agree with you. I think there's so many different ways you could look at this. If you could start on the percentage that they spend of their budgets this year. I think the model you're argument has to meet holes, and many other clubs could argue the same thing for nationally recognized, or didn't get anywhere close to what they asked for. And I do think Amy's right, where you have to go back and look at if this group actually would benefit from this extra $53, where that would go to that club and who actually needs it. I think this would be, the best decision would be to avoid this whole thing of trying to pick certain clubs who need it most, because every club can make that argument.
Margaret, I have you next.
We made my point already about that there's probably some clubs that 49 have already received 100% of their requested budget.
Laura?
Yeah, like all of them said, I frankly think the people that need it should get it, but another, I'm just putting this out, another solution is just to give to PCF, which all clubs have access to.
Yeah, thing about PCF is that when people need money, when clubs need money for a special event, they go to PCF for so it's like $300 at a time, and that's the most efficient way to actually allocate the funds to clubs or people that actually need the money. Because if you're just giving it to clubs with the smallest budgets, they may have small budgets for a specific reason. Like some clubs don't need extra money; they don't have expenses like other clubs do. So if you give it to PCF, it's actually allocated to important requests that actually need the money. Clubs that don't.
I have Alice.
I agree about PCF. It does go to clubs that need it, but this argument can be fine with this, but maybe 30% of the clubs on campus know that PCF exists, let alone student council give them money. Yeah, I know, but it's still it's a very limited amount. I say PCF to people, and they just put their hands on their butts. Anyways, and the reason that we need to go $55 to the smallest clubs is really, it's a messy process if we go into all the clubs and try to divvy it up again. And it's already been done. And yes, it will go over maybe 3 budgets of what they actually asked for, but it's $50, and I mean,
Yes, I mean, it depends on what we mean by a club who's been doing well. Right now, my idea is a club which has taken the name of Clark University out there internationally amongst the best things the US has to offer. Right? We're talking essentially about quintessential American ideals. We're not going to just dole out money for clubs which need it. We're going to dole out money for clubs which are doing a good job with it. Now, I will definitely take down this motion and I will definitely back on whatever I have said. If you can provide me another club which is able to take Clark University's name in competition with the Harvards, in competition with the Yales and the Princetons, right? Within a period of a matter of 4 years. We started Model UN just 4 years ago, and now we're competing with the best that America has to offer. And therefore, considering the hard work we've been putting, considering that these are quintessential American values we have come to, appreciate, let's go with it. That's my position.
Johan, I would be very, very, very careful of making comparisons between clubs. That's not what we do here. To be honest, I think that there are so many clubs, and probably every single club that we have is making a difference in one way or another. We have so many advocacy groups that are, helping to eradicate poverty. We have great club sports teams that are competing extremely well on their level. I think that, and I could go through and probably name something fabulous about every single one of our clubs on campus. So I just make sure I understand your fervor for your club, but please make sure that you're not comparing it to other clubs. That's not the spirit that we want to set here. All right, next on the list I have Devin.
So, I feel like the general consensus is that it's not equitable to essentially randomly discuss my individual clubs. That being said, I'm talking about the present motion we're talking about. That being said, I would like to move to the previous question so that we can discuss what we're going to do with it and the conversations around.
That means we go to the immediate vote.
You would like to go to immediate vote?
No, I would like to.
That's
Yes, sorry, yeah, that's what I mean. Move to the previous question to defeat this. My opinion is to defeat this and open up on the. What I'm saying is.
Explain what motion to the previous question is.
No, I know.
Well, actually, right now, Devin, you're not discussing Dulara's motion.
I know.
We're discussing the motion that Alan brought up.
Right. And I'm saying that given the discussion, I could move to do whatever. My general feeling is that the argument is that it's inequitable to dish this out to lowest $40. That being said, I would like to move to the previous question, and I would advocate a no vote. Open the table up to what we want to do with the money.
I now understand what you're talking about.
Okay, sorry.
Andrew, did you want to make a point?
I did.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is move to the previous question. There's an immediate vote, it's passed by 3/4, and discussions on the main motion.
Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to move into voting. So the motion that we're voting on is to give the clubs with the lowest budgets, the 49 clubs with the lowest budgets.
That's not how it works. We vote on the winner of the previous question.
Oh, sorry.
We vote, then we vote on the vote.
Great. All right. Thank you, Devin. So, all right, we're now going to move on whether or not we want to do the previous question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
For division.
There's a call for division vote. So, just to clarify again, you're voting to stop discussion on this matter and to move directly into voting. So you're voting on whether or not you want to vote on the motion now. So Hannah?
I misspoke before, it's 2/3, not 3/4.
2/3. Hannah, can you do a division of the vote? Well,
So Lisa, Allie Glick, Harrison,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Hannah, yes, Ivy, Dulara,
This is discussion, right?
No, this is when you're not.
This is moving, was a move to go back to vote.
Oh.
Do you want to keep talking about whether or not we're going to give this money to 49?
Aye, it's to stop. You understood? Aye, yes. Sorry.
so Dulara, yes, Ola, yes, Johan, Andrew, Kelly, Margaret,
yes,
Ryan,
No.
Shaylin, nay, Sierra, Devin,
Yes.
Mark, sorry, Allie, Annie,
A resounding yes.
and Joseph.
Yes.
motion, which is whether or not we should give the groups with the 49 lowest budgets $54. Is everyone clear on that? So, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
All abstentions? Ryan?
No, I'm just kidding, I voted yes.
Okay, Ryan?
Okay.
Wait,
You can't.
we're good. Is there a motion on the table to divide the vote? Shaylin? Anna?
Ally?
Yes.
Harrison?
So what's this?
To give to divide the clubs.
Yes, yes. No, what, we voted to.
Do not just vote again.
Oh, okay, yes.
To this, okay, just to be clear,
Should be counted, not like.
just to be clear on what we're doing right now is to give the lowest 49 clubs $54 extra.
No.
Okay. Sam?
No.
Hannah? No. Ivy?
Yes.
Dulara?
No.
Ola?
Yes.
Johan?
Nay.
Andrew?
Yes.
Kelly?
No.
Rachel? Margaret? No. Ryan? Shaylin? Devin?
Yeah.
Andy?
No. Sorry, no.
Devin?
That was a no, I'm sorry.
Andy?
Absolutely no.
And Joseph?
No.
So the motion fails. All right, so now we're going to go into talking about what we would like to do with this remaining $2,685. And I'm going to take a speakers list again. So I have Ryan, I have Margaret, I have Andy, I have Shaylin, and I have Harrison. And if you would like to speak, just put your hand out and wait for me to nod at you and then go on the list. Ryan?
Okay.
Take me off the speaker list, Margaret's saying my point.
I'd like to say a couple of things. First, that we have a finance committee so that they can sit down and carefully consider all the options. And I'm really proud of all the work the finance committee does. And I think it's important that we take their recommendation, which we just voted down, very seriously. And it's unfortunate we couldn't talk about it more because they put a lot of thought into it and considered all the options that you brought up during the time here, including allocating money to individual clubs. That being said, the motion has been voted down. So there are a number of options you have before you as council. You can choose to allocate it to individual clubs, and that would be a discussion. You can choose to allocate it evenly among clubs or a number of clubs. You can choose to move it to PCF. You can choose to move it to grants. Or you can choose to give it to council and have it go to, for example, the advertising grants, the co-sponsorship fund, etc. Those are the options you have before you. But I want to restate my point that the finance committee does this work, what they do, and I think it's really important that we take them seriously and listen to their voice.
Margaret.
I move to transfer the $2,685 to PCF.
There's a motion on the table. There's a motion on the table to transfer the remaining $2,685 to PCF of next year. Is there a second? Sam. Questions to the wording? Harrison?
Well, is it, because PCF is by semester, so it's one semester and then it stops and then there's another semester, so would it be divided just in half for each semester? Is that?
I'll take the friendly amendment.
Okay. Can you just bring that up when we're actually talking about discussion, then Margaret can take it as a friendly amendment? Cool. All right. Discussion. Harrison?
Yeah, so PCF request basically,
Wait, is there, sorry, is there a second? Second by Sam. Harrison, discussion.
Yeah, so PCF, we got a ton of requests this year. This semester we ran out of money, we got so many requests, like so many events on campus are funded through PCF requests. So whether it's like a dodgeball tournament or a bake sale or a lot of other really good events, a lot of them are funded through PCF requests. And when clubs need extra money, say for a special event, they come to PCF when they need additional funding. It's like $300, so it's really it's democratically we can democratically give out the money because clubs in need are able to get it. So it's more efficient than it's going to
does go out to all clubs. While a lot of clubs do not know about PCF, and as much as you guys advertise, it is not known. And a lot of the smaller clubs, especially smaller clubs, do not know about you guys. So, we want to reach our goal, the 5, whatever, 4 of us, wanted to reach out to as many as we could. That was our goal.
I have Sheila.
I believe that this is an equitable way to go about it, because although you do claim that a lot of people don't know about PCF, I feel that it is an option for clubs, and if that is the case, then potentially it is, communication's job to try and get it out there that PCF is available to all clubs, and I would be willing to take that on as a job for, the end of the year and the first 2 months or month of next year.
I would consider those.
We thought about everything you guys said, but bottom line, the SAF fund is increased, so you're obviously going to get money next year.
So we need to get more.
I have Kelly next on the list.
I think the argument that not all clubs know about PCF is it has a lot of holes in it too, because an email is sent out to every club leader on campus about PCF. All of a sudden it dried up too. I think by giving this to PCF is also taking pressure off grants, because we, I don't know, grant money this year too. And I think if you look at the number of clubs grants had, I'm sure PCF can say the same thing. It is the majority of student groups have on the last one.
I have Devin next.
I'd like to make a motion, or no, rather, I would like to amend the motion for the point of clarification to say that it's $1,342.50 per semester.
Do you take that as something?
Yes, I do.
Great. It is now added on that there is that amount of money per semester. I have next, Johan.
Yeah, the reason why I go with the PCF option is that there's some sort of criteria, selection criteria. We trust the people in charge to make the right decisions rather than, dispersing equally, but there's some sort of selection criteria process and we given a monthly measure. That's all.
I have next, Margaret.
The reason I made this motion is because I think there's no transparent way to allocate additional money to only a certain number of clubs or only one club after the appeals process already ended. That's why I made this motion.
I have next, Allie. Good.
While you said that emails go out to everyone, this is true. I'm sure you guys are on the same boat as me, where you get 1 million emails from McKenna and everyone else in school, and you just delete them. And I know that you shouldn't delete them because whatever, but it's not. We think it's much more transparent than it is. In my friend group, no one knows anything about this. No one knows that we give money out. And this is with me, a finance person. It's very frustrating. And I'd be happy to give all clubs an equal amount of money and give them all $25. I think by giving it just to PCF, it's giving it to a very limited amount of people.
I think the claim is completely unfounded that one way is more democratic than the other. Because you said that like it would be more democratic to be able to reach more people. And I think the way we're doing this right now is extremely democratic. And I think that's the ideology, that whole whatever conceptual debate you want to have here is completely unfounded. And I think that investing money in the smaller clubs will help, generate growth amongst the smaller clubs here. Like Stanton or the high school partnership or ACOG are all, great causes. I think that'd be the best we could do.
I have next, Sam.
First of all, I'd just like to read the back of the comparison says that we do try to take a lot of stress. The financial committee doesn't have to deal with every single little request. We're able, like clubs that are, so we're easy to take off the stress. Second, in terms of the already killed amendment of splitting it up, I don't think being small should necessarily be a merit to give money. That kind of confirms all this and kind of on that same point of revenue. I'm looking at like, the club needs the money, they'll go through it, they're motivated, their demand is that high, then they would go and make the extra effort to come to PCF. And that is a smart way to say, oh, the club doesn't, if the club doesn't need money, or doesn't need money that badly, they wouldn't come to us. But if they need money that badly, then they will come to student council in search of help, not tell you to directly to us. So I think it's really hard to argue whether or not, I think PCF is probably the cleanest option. It's probably the cleanest option to you do go through all that stuff and evaluate and make decisions that are through. Thanks.
In terms of having impact, I mean, to have an event, you don't, sometimes like $300 is enough to have a successful campus-wide event. And if we are able to grant so many more requests next year, if it's advertised more and more money in the PCF fund, then we'll see a dramatic improvement on campus events. And people knowing about, I mean, if you're a club leader and you need funds, I feel like you should be resourceful and know that you should go to. There's ways, I mean, like, there's ways to find funding on campus. And if you're getting funding from student council already, you probably would have an idea of PCF requests. But this is just a way to really improve participation on campus as well.
I think that PCF is discussing the military opposition, and there should be there's an equal opportunity bill with all of us. It's something I would love to change it down.
Everything you said.
Great. Shaylin?
As much as I feel for finance committee, and I'm aware that they've considered all the options, you know, in depth, I feel that discussing the previous already killed motion as, you know, still an option is not necessarily productive, and I feel that PCF probably is probably the cleanest way. Want to evenly divide it up, and I feel again that there comes in issues of, you know, little things like already budget that they asked for.
Andy?
I was consumed by Margaret.
Sorry.
I have Allie.
So, do we have to vote on that motion before another one is made?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, the main motion.
There's a thing here.
Is there any, does that make sense, Allie?
Yeah, can I ask one comment?
Sure.
In order to reach as many clubs as we can, give an example, high school came in, we gave them $1,100, we gave them $1,060. They came in asking for their $40, because with that $40 they could put on 2 more events. They're a very little club, they go around, I don't know exactly what they do, but they work in schools to help them with programs, and basically make sure the kids stay in good activities. And they did a very little amount of $40. And if you can imagine what these little clubs can do, well, it's already off the table, but I think that by just giving them more money will allow them to do more.
I have Ivy.
Well, to say that if we're arguing for PCF,
I can come back. If you think of it, just I have next Hannah.
Is it possible to give this money to grants?
It is possible, but we would need to vote down this motion. I have.
Just kind of as a clarification to what Allie was talking about with the high school partnership, I don't know if you guys have ever participated, but I did for a little while. And what they do is they work with high school students and they act, and college students act as mentors for them. And so what you do is basically you help them get through the rest of high school, and you talk to them about their opportunities in college. So that's just a little bit about the importance of what that group does. So if they do so much with a very small budget, I think it speaks to a lot of work people love.
I have Tamara.
Concerning the high school they want, they can come to PCF and ask for the money. They can do the things now. And what I'm saying is that not all clubs that have a low budget really need the money. If they do need it, I mean, the money will be there. It's not going to disappear. They won't have access to it. It will be there.
So I mean, I just think that in order to really advocate, I guess what we should be trying to do with this money is to give it to clubs that need it. So if you are budget, I know this motion is on the table anymore, but it's just saying that PCF would be the best way to efficiently give it to clubs that need the money.
Right?
I just want to reiterate the point, just as we shouldn't be talking about how UN and virtues, we really shouldn't also be spraying into the individual things about that partnership. Just keep it to types of clubs, not individual clubs, just so we don't.
Oh, yeah, if we're making these arguments for PCF, then you might as well make them grants, you might as well make them student council, which, yeah, would be a good sponsorship. Yeah.
Kelly?
Well, I think by giving it to PCF, you're taking stress off of parents. You don't need to put it directly in grants at all. I also think, as Margaret said, is PCF is presented to all student groups at mandatory club officer training. I personally presented it mid-semester too. So that's times that are physically there. And the argument of that's their own fault then.
To me, it sort of seems like everyone has pretty much made up their mind as to whether or not they're voting for or against this motion. But I'd be more than happy to take anyone with a new idea to offer or to bring to the table. Not a new idea, let me clarify, a new perspective or new about this motion. If not, I would be happy to start voting on this. Sam?
Just briefly, all clubs is our specialty because of our 300. We are the group that come to for that extra little. And that's what we're doing here is pretty much what should be our job. What should be PCF's job in the sense of distributing small amounts of money to clubs that need it.
I'd like to make a motion to table this discussion until next week. We don't have enough information because either we're debating on what we're going to put into what account, PCF grants, this or that. It's either we spend the money now or we give it to some other account to spend for next year. And I think we should have more time to think about this.
So you would like to table this motion so we all have more time to think about this?
Yep.
Do we need to vote on that?
We need a
Oh, we need a second. Sorry, we need a second. Second by Ally. Questions to the wording? Discussion? Andrew?
Like I said before, I think we need more time because we're getting this debate or basically should one club get more money than this club and one club get more money than that club, and I don't think this is being productive. We're just going to keep coming with motions and they're going to get defeated. And I think we should take some time, come up with a good solution that solves all of this. And I think a week can give us that and come back next week and work on it.
Kelly?
I think that we kind of have come to a perfect solution with PCF because all that was
So motions to let that table aren't actually debatable, but because you mentioned particular time, it's actually a motion to postpone. So that is debatable. So it's a motion to postpone.
So glad we had to.
Any further discussion about postponing? Seeing none, we are now going to move into voting about whether or not you would like to postpone the decision of where to allocate this extra $2,000. Any questions to the wording? Okay. So we're moving into voting. Everyone in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
All abstentions?
Okay.
Sam, that's not really perfect. Any abstentions? No abstentions. All right, motion is fails. Okay, so now we're moving back into we're discussing if we would like to give this money to PCF. Hannah?
I don't come from a very democratic country. So when you say it's a democracy and if you think that we're trying to be fair, I don't know really. As much as like I can see where everyone's coming from with why we giving an equal amount of money to each club and some clubs don't even have a budget. I just think that it makes sense in my head if we have a lump sum and we have so many clubs to just distribute the money equally amongst each club. And hey, maybe a club has more money now to have a marshmallow fest, or maybe a club has money now to buy balloons for something else. It just makes sense in my mind to give out I did just know at $21 to each, to every single club on campus. But that's just my opinion.
Devin?
Okay. Alright. Just to respond to that, I was just saying what I was going to say. I think that giving PCF the ability to have one club put on, not one, but any number of clubs put on one more real event is better than having every club decide that they can print out, 5 more leaflets for a year. I think the impact felt in the community would be broader if PCF was able to distribute that in a meaningful way.
Okay. Allie?
I think it's a little, if it's to say meaningful, I mean, I know this is getting a little, back and forth a little bit between us. I mean, I could easily debate some things that money went to that was for unmeaningful causes. While, for example, the marshmallow roast at the club only requires around $50 and that half the campus come to it and happen to be outside. I think that's much more meaningful than I'm not.
Yeah. What I'm hearing right now is pretty much that I hear pretty formed opinions from everyone in the room, and so I would be interested if no one has anything particularly different that they would like to express. I think there are very strong opinions on both sides right now. But if no one has anything particularly different to express, then I'm interested in voting on this. Do you want to write?
These are my last words. We're not asking for the money just because we're an organizational committee. We just want the PCF fund. We really don't mind if it goes to the grants company, it goes to the grants. But now, since we did come to a solution, which is PCF, I think it's fair to continue.
Okay. Anyone else? Someone can motion to vote as well. Andy?
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to vote.
Okay. There's a motion. Second, Harrison. Motion to. We're not.
That was a motion.
No, motion to the previous question. Yeah, sorry.
That was.
Sorry. Okay, so now we're going to move directly into voting. Okay. Thank you. JK, we're voting on the motion. We're voting on the motion if we would like to stop talking. So, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Can you stick out your hand if you're opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Okay, now we're moving to voting. So this is voting on whether or not we would like to give $2,685 to PCF, split by semester in half. All right. So any questions to the wording?
Like all per division.
Cool. Hannah, do it up.
Allie?
No.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sam? Hannah? No. Ivy? Dulara?
Yes.
Ola? Johan?
Yes.
Andrew?
Nay.
Kelly? Margaret?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Shaylin?
Yes.
Devin?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion passes. Yay! I'm glad that the motion, or I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. I'm glad that we've decided what to do with this money. But thank you sincerely to the Finance Committee for all of your questions there, part of it, and I think you do take this very seriously, and you did have a long discussion about what to do with this money. But I'm glad that process is now over. Alrighty, so we are now going to move into student life and comparison with the organizational committee report. And I hear that you've been doing office space allocations?
Yeah, we've been doing it, so we're probably done with it by the end of this week. We've received all of our requests and we're just allocating office space basically.
And do you have an idea of when you're going to be done with this?
By Friday.
By Friday. Awesome. All right. Now we are going to move into the judiciary committee report. Andrew?
So, during our last judiciary meeting, we discussed a number of things. Holes that we thought we saw in the legislation, the Constitution, and so we made a list of those and we assigned them to our committee members. So we all sort of have things to work on that hopefully will enter new legislation. I am working on, first of all, making a course for orientation so that our new members in October next year will sort of have an idea of what exactly the Constitution said about diversity and things like that, as well as a section on minor procedure. So we're all familiar with that. And hopefully a cheat sheet that I can give out because parliamentary procedure is great. I love it. And meetings go more smoothly, but if you're familiar with the way it works and it's okay to you, then it can be familiar with it.
That sounds really great. So you guys want to just like go down the line and say we're going to be working on it? Cool.
I'm gonna mainly work on elections procedures, mainly on the issue we had this year, so running from abroad, because that's something that is missing in the Constitution and it needs to be fixed, it needs to be constitutionalized. And for that, I'm gonna request also to have like help and talk with the elections committee and with Lisa, because to make it more fair. And also I'm going to work on the annual budget process. It's persecuting me. And so how to actually make constitutional the entire process, so we have a line that is set and it's going to be that way.
Yeah.
We want
Sounds really great. So elections committee and finance committee, I'm sure we can be expecting to hear from Emily.
So I'm looking into, I know with the budget speaking next week, we have a little bit of trouble deciding when a member could make a motion or when they're required to be. So I'm going to be looking into when members cannot make motions or when they have to abstain and what kind of regulations or rules to follow for those. And then I'm also going to look into special elections and referendum, just the procedure in general, starting with those and the timing and all of those.
Awesome. Sounds like great work. Mark?
I'll be taking a look at procedures in regard to vacancies when an organization such as this with so many seats have inevitably will have periods of time when it can't be filled. And I'm going to take a look over our current procedure and also at a certain time I'm going to cut off and then check the appointment process. We either looking to tighten up the wording or just overhaul the thing, and be exciting things in the future.
Cool. I'm really excited that you guys are going to be doing that because those are all questions. Yeah. Those are all questions that have been floating around for a while. It would be great to have some substantial idea of what to do.
Put out there that anybody else has things like this, something about training that don't know about the Constitution, about legislation, email me about it, and I'd like to have our medical team.
This is so great, guys. I'm super excited about this. Okay. Sounds awesome, Andrew. Thank you so much. All right. Anything else? Great. So now we're going to move into internal business. So first of all, just to let everyone know, there's going to be an open house on the 16th, which is this Saturday. And I called for a couple of volunteers last week to be there. And if you have any questions about what exactly or you need to do during that time, just see me after the meeting, and thank you for volunteering. And then the second item on the agenda for me is the social committee that's going to be looking at our. So the social committee it was formed to oversee our end of the year sort of event to thank student leaders, which is basically we're going to be having cotton candy and popcorn out and in front of the UC during a Saturday. But if Lola, if you would like to discuss more exactly what the social committee has been up to, what they're doing.
So we'll have, it's an event by Icarus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they will have a stage in the green, and they'll give us 10 minutes so we can have our award session. I think the election committee is doing nominations and everything. We had it in the content machines with the organic sugar and corn. This is pretty exciting.
Is there anyone that would like to be on the social committee besides Joanna and Lola and me? Johan? Awesome. Anyone else down for planning this lovely event out? It's fun. You get to work with all of us. Help you ball.
Wait a second.
2 weeks. It's 2 weeks from now. Ish. Alright, that's cool. We're happy to have you, Johan. Alright, awesome. We'll keep you up to date. Keep you up to date on how that's progressing. Alright, and then also Allie couldn't be here because she is sick and it is like 4 in the morning over there, and we decided that it's probably a good idea for her to get some sleep when she's sick. But she is going to be working on new member training. So that's with Josie, Andy, and Sierra, who is not here, and Devin as well. And so she will be in touch with all of you, and you can schedule a time and she will fill you in on everything student council related, even though Devin has already been on student council for a year. We'll talk, Devin. Cool. And so then we're going to move into the treasurer report. Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. We'll now move into the secretary report. Hannah.
Hello. So the e-board had a little meeting about housing representatives, and okay, so I'm in Wright and Ryan's in Wright, and since Ryan has come on to council, when he was Wright Hall representative, he would write out an email every Wednesday after council and tell us that, oh, this is what we talked about, this is what happened, if you want to talk to me, come contact me, stuff like that. And it just came to my attention that I just think that it would be a good thing to have all the housing representatives send out a little blurb every Wednesday, informing their people, their housing people about like what's happening on council, just so that people will be like, I don't know what's going on in council, I have no idea. Like we'll send you an email.
Wait.
Ryan?
I just want to say, this was such a positive response from people who lived in Wright and just come up and say, I heard you did this is what I think about it, and it really gives you an opportunity for all you people who represent halls to get in touch with your hall, and it was a really positive thing. The key to the emails is to make it something you're interested in that happening in council, because if it's not something you're interested in, that shows through immediately. And to keep it relatively informal, don't be just sending out the agenda, that's useless and it's kind of annoying. But say, this is what we did, here's what I thought about it, here's what I'm doing for you guys, and you'll get a response. It's a really positive thing. So.
Ola?
How do you suggest sending out emails every week?
How do you suggest?
Yeah.
On your, how you have a list?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So weekly.
Oh, that's a question if this is going to be a weekly thing.
Yes.
Because I feel like people just delete them without reading.
I'm sorry.
I just feel that you get like this spot, when people just like
Feedback, right? And Ali, Kanina was saying, it'll have this. It'll condition people to just delete council emails, and then in the long run, just delete council altogether, which we thought about. And at the same time, I think if you don't want to receive an email from us, you can just. I would honestly like to receive an email than not like to receive an email. Do you know what I mean? Like I was.
Maybe if we could also like, because we have a